It's funny, my relationship with Spider-Man. He's always been my favorite hero. Except for the times when I like some other hero more, it vacillates, you know. Comparing different superheroes, it's like apples and oranges. You can't say either one is your favorite fruit. Maybe you can, but actually I prefer apples. I've never liked oranges, but I like orange juice. It's kind of like how I like peanut butter, but I don't like peanuts. There's no point to any of what I just said. Talking about Spider-Man, it just makes me think. Back in the day, before there were Spider-Man movies, I wanted there to be a Spider-Man movie. I remember one Halloween I dressed up as Spider-Man. My mom made this great costume, full body costume, sort of supplemented by a store-bought Spider-Man costume, which was just like a chest piece and a face mask. She made a whole outfit for me to wear. It was great. I was always looking forward to a Spider-Man movie. And then they finally came. Sam Raimi gave us those Spider-Man movies, and I was over the moon. I loved them. I guess that's what earned this profound loyalty I feel to the original series of Spider-Man movies. It doesn't quite make... Now, I've said it before, I'll say it again, the third movie wasn't that good, but I really, if only... I really became invested in that series. So, when the franchise rebooted, just turned an about face, I automatically had it in for the replacement movies, the replacement Spider-Man. And even now, I'm finding it difficult to banish that feeling, because I still feel like I have to sing the praises of Sam Raimi's films. At the time, those were some of the highest rated movies, and it's not just that the franchise was rebooted, it's also that nobody talks about how good they were. I mean, these were in like the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes, the first two films anyway, and even the third movie wasn't that bad, really. I've said all this before. But it's just ironic, because if Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man films had come out first, then I'm sure I would have been every bit as loyal to them. And it's hard for me, because I should want to like a Spider-Man movie, especially if it's good. And instead, I find myself in the unique position of not wanting to like the Spider-Man movies, which is... This must all sound so pointless to someone who isn't a fan, but at least as it was when I was growing up, seeing a comic book character brought to the big screen, it was a big deal. You were seeing them realized in the flesh for the first time. Nowadays, we're inundated with comic book movies. They're sort of par for the course. If a comic book is successful enough, then it's a pretty good bet it'll have a movie made out of it eventually. But back in the old days, back in the day, I should stop using air quotes, but back in the day, movies were a big deal, you know, when they adapted something from paper to screen. And I'm wrong not to I'm wrong to have it in for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I know I am. The Amazing Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man movie, it did have some problems, though, in my defense. The crane operators swooping in to aid Spider-Man in balletic motion, that was pretty damn goofy. The Lizard was an unmemorable villain, but I'm only bringing this up now because the latest trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, it looks really promising. In some ways, it looks almost like everything I ever wanted in a Spider-Man movie. At least before Andrew Molina became Dr. Octopus. Man, he was a great Dr. Octopus. And Jonah Jameson and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies got so much right. They were so good. Oh, God, it still hurts, you know, because I really loved those movies, damn it. And now they're just gone without a satisfactory resolution. and it hurts. And I'm trying to move on. I'm trying to move on into this brave future with Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. And like I said in my review of that film 1,000,001 years ago, I do like him in the role. Maybe even a little better than Tobey Maguire. I just... It's not this new series' fault that it was rebooting and replacing another movie series. It's like you've adopted a child to replace a child you've lost. And well, this is a hideous analogy because, of course, if that happened in real life, then it's tremendous, and you can't use that as a metaphor for something so picayune as movies. But in microcosm, to a much lesser extent, it's kind of like when you adopt a child to replace a child that you've lost. You resent the new kid because you feel like he's replacing the one that you've had, and you blame the previous child's absence on the presence of the new kid. And that's not fair. These new movies deserve to be judged on their own merits, but I can't stop bringing back how they're here, and my beloved Sam Raimi Spider-Man saga isn't here anymore. It's just lopped off at the wrist. But the new trailer does look great. I'm pretty sure it's going to wind up, Electro's going to do a heel face turn, and I'm seeing some predictable elements and something. Well, never mind. The point is, it looks great. Andrew Garfield looks like I looked when I dressed up as Spider-Man as a kid. And I mean that as a great compliment. I'm glad that they got back the original costume, the original design. And his costume design is actually more faithful to the source material than Sam Raimi's film's costume design was. And if I can just emerge from the chrysalis of my resentment, then maybe I can really get into it. Maybe I can love and adore these new Spider-Man movies like I should. I guess we'll just see. Because I really am looking forward to it now. Apparently, it's got the Rhino. It's setting up things it's trying to give all of Spider-Man's enemies a kind of all-encompassing origin. We see hints of the Vulture, of Dr. Octopus. I heard a rumor that Venom was in there somewhere. And of course, there's Electro. But we'll see what happens. Just like last time. And because up to this point, I was actually hoping that this new Spider-Man movie would be bad, and once more people would appreciate what they had with Sam Raimi's films. How do I become this twisted, this vengeful, that I actually want a project to fail, especially when the subject matter is something so near and dear to my heart? How does that happen? I used to crave the idea of a Spider-Man movie. I'd read about rumors in the comic bullpens. This was before the internet. Can you believe I existed before the internet? I did. Wow. Anyway, we'll just see what happens. Alright. That's all I gotta say, I guess. I'm formulating a parody of Frozen, where instead of ice and cold, she's got, like, knives. She's this child born with the mysterious and miraculous ability over knives. Everything she does is like knives. Just replace snow and ice with knives. Think about it. Every scene in that movie. You know, hey, Elsa, you want to go and play? Why? All I do is make knives. Come on, let's go play. Let's make a knife man. Okay. Yay, we're making knives everywhere. Oh, Anna, slow down. No. Ah! Let's take her to the trolls. The trolls will heal her. What do you want us to do? She's got a knife in her head. What do you want us to do? We can't fix that with the power of love. What do you want us to do? Give her an eye patch. Make a little living knife man. I like warthogs. Knife. And in the end, she makes a knife palace. And in the end, she makes a knife storm over Arendelle. Knives everywhere. You're not a monster, mother. You are a monster. There's blood everywhere.